What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Beauty Clinic, and HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, HUDCO Roofing. We are back to Homestead, so flew in yesterday, landed in New Orleans, from San Francisco, landed in New Orleans about 4:45. Mad dash to get the car and to try to get home and watch the Super Bowl. Made it home for the start of the second quarter. Thankfully, though, because of the wonders of modern technology, Erica put the game on her iPad and we kind of like put it up on the dash. Not the safest thing in the world to do, but so I could kind of like, as I was driving home, I kind of glance and keep sort of one eye on the game, one eye on the road. Again, not the safest thing in the world, admittedly, but so I was able to keep up with the game there in the first quarter. So the Rams win the Super Bowl, and obviously, especially post Nolan no call, not a fan of the Rams. I am individually very happy for what seemed like some good news. Well, obviously, Andrew Whitworth, who very likely is going to retire after that game to go out a Super Bowl champion after his long, likely Hall of Fame career. Odell, of course, LSU Tiger, who's had sort of an enigmatic career, the great start with the Giants, the falling out, the knee injury, basically being blamed for the issues in Cleveland, being cast aside, landing in LA, and sort of reinventing himself. Sucked to see him get hurt yesterday, but congrats to Odell also as Super Bowl champion. I mean, look, Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, those seem like really good guys. So, Cooper Kupp. So it's, individually, I could be happy for some of those guys that won it yesterday. Obviously, disappointed for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I know everyone says the same thing. Oh, well, they'll be back, and then people point out, well, Dan Marino thought he'd be back and then never got back. And look, the Saints won it in 2009 and never got back. It's a really hard thing to do. And you look at the AFC and you go, Patrick Mahomes isn't going anywhere, and Josh Allen isn't going anywhere, and Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, and you go, holy crap, there are no guarantees that you're getting back. So I'm certain that disappointment's there. For the game itself, I know the tendency for fans is always to blame the thing that you couldn't control. So for fans that want to see the Bengals win, they're going to look at the defensive holding call at the end of the game on the third down play in the red zone and go, oh, of course the NFL wanted the Rams to win, blah, 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 blah. That's stupid. It's conspiratorial. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's not in that moment. Roger Goodell is not an earpiece with the official telling him to throw the flag. What I would say is, how about don't let your quarterback get sacked 7 times? Flip it around. The touchdown from T. Higgins where he grabs Jalen Ramsey's face mask and throws him to the ground. Come on, y'all. You got to be better than that. I know fans are fans. That's what you're going to say. Some of you will say, that's nauseating to me, to insinuate that the fix is in the NFL. Even still in that moment, you have the ball with a chance to go win, and boom, Jamar Chase, boom, Tyler Boyd over the middle. How about that? Before the 16-play drive, Tyler Boyd, Burrow hits him in the numbers right at midfield, Bengals are up 3. Catch the damn ball, kid. Catch the ball, and you're chewing more clock, and you're about 12 yards away from being in field goal range. You know? So, and then even after the Rams score to take the lead, the Bengals have the ball. Chase, Boyd, midfield. And then, you've got a 3rd and 1, and they run a draw play. Like, I know what he was trying to do. He's trying to get a quick first down and clock it and preserve the timeout. I get it. I know what he's trying to do. But, I mean, Aaron Donald's been mauling your offensive line for the whole second half. So, anyway, I bet that Zach Taylor would like to have that call back, and the decision to go for it on a 4th down at midfield in the first quarter. I mean, your defense gets a stop to start the game. You have advantageous field position. They stop you, and instead of maintaining field position, you give them half a field. They score the game's first touchdown. I mean, I just, in a 60-minute game with 150 plays, whatever the total number is, when people are going to point to one call, they're going to go, that's a... Come on, man. Come on. Disappointing, yes, the way it ended, obviously. I thought it was a terrible call. I did. I do not think the game was fixed. All right, let's say some good mornings. Caleb Bernard, Kelly Gross, Brian Wynn, Benton Alford, Jeff McKithen, good morning. Brian Wynn, the 4th down play call at the end by the Bengals is questionable. Just 4th and 1, you had to give yourself a run-pass option. And Aaron Donald just blew it up. Dana Bergeron, Deborah Coward, Shannon Russell. Rigged, and I don't want to hear otherwise. Bingo. You're right. It's rigged. The NFL rigged the Super Bowl because there's no danger, there's no potential collateral damage to the league in rigging a Super Bowl, right? Fans, bro. That, like, the worst part of if you want to know the worst part of my job, like, I'm very blessed to do what I do. The worst part of my job is dealing with opinions like that. It's Shannon, I'm sure you're wonderful. I don't mean this, but like when you so callously throw out like the literal most devastating accusation you can make against a competitive sports league, which is that it's rigged. Like there's no sensibility or sensibility at all. Let's see. Steven Tucker, the Rams owner, is married to a Walton that owns Walmart. So, I don't know. Stan Kroenke married one of the Waltons, but Stan Kroenke was independently wealthy before that. Cody DeVille, Bengals O-line and corners. Better get O-line and corners. Score was so close. Yeah, they definitely. Eli Apple stunk too. That was fun. I did kind of like to see Eli Apple get torched all game. Charlie Gale, Dylan Landry, good morning. Bo Landash, bingo, the Bengals O-line was not built to win this championship. That being said, if they rebuild the line, this team will be deadly next year. I hope so, man. I hope so. It's just so hard to win, man. Yeah. Sherry Gotro, good morning. Dane Bergeron, Bengals need a better O-line and another wide receiver to take pressure off of Chase and get Gronk out of retirement. Well, I don't think they need Gronk. I mean, I think C.J. Uzomah's a really good tight end option. And they don't need another wide receiver, Dane. I mean, Higgins and Boyd are fine. That's a hell of a three-headed monster with those three. And Uzomah's a really good tight end. I don't think they need a tight end. He hurt himself in the playoffs prior, but played in the game yesterday. Bobby Auten, O-line did not adjust well in the second half. That's what it boils down to. People can blame who they want. 6 sacks in the second half, no adjustments made. Well, you credit the Rams, right? I mean, the Rams, I think Collinsworth did a really good job on the broadcast explaining what the Rams did differently, because if the Bengals were turning their center toward Aaron Donald every play, and that's what created the crease to generate pressure. It was good. I thought Collinsworth did a good job with that explanation. But yeah, you're right. They never countered that. Or Zach Taylor never counted that with his play call. At least it didn't seem that way. Will Davis, good morning. Trivia Carter, good morning. Gabriel Fernando, if it's not stolen, it's not Rams. They did the same thing against the Saints when there was no foul. Now they spent the whole game without a flag and suddenly the flags everywhere. That went both ways, by the way, Gabriel, and should have also, because after the play at the goal line, they called a very questionable hold against the Rams, which would have moved them back to the, where were they? To the 15, but Von Bell committed a personal foul against Cooper Kupp, which was absolutely the right call. I hate the rule. To be very clear. But like, what's Von Bell supposed to do? I mean, just let him catch the ball to take the lead in the Super Bowl? No, I mean, he's got to try to dislodge the ball. So he made a vicious hit on a defenseless receiver, and they threw the flag. But had Von Bell just let him alone, it's holding on a very questionable holding call, and now the Rams are pushed farther back, and they're in a very tough situation. And I'll point out also that the Bengals had the lead because of a 75-yard touchdown by T. Higgins, where he savagely grabbed Jalen Ramsey's face mask and threw him to the ground. And there was no call. Spurge, what's good? Best news is they covered. I played them on the money line, Spurge. I did. I told you I would, and I did. I played the Rams on the money line, so win some, lose some. Let's see. Hey, Matt Lusto, family show. Save the language for Nightcap. But Morning Scone is a family show, so we're going to keep that. I'm going to remove that. We're going to keep it super PG in the mornings on Morning Scone. Not coming down on you. You know that I am quick with the tongue, but Morning Scone, we keep it super PG. Kids going to school and all that sort of stuff. Travis Broussard, morning, Matt. Coaching lost the game for Cincy. Single covered Cup with Apple. How do you not double team Donald? I want to go back and see the last play again. I don't know. They were like supposed to have help. That's the tough part, right, Travis? I mean, you never like. What was the call? Like, what was the responsibility? I might get Kevin Mawai on the show today. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask him why the Bengals offensive line sucked so bad. Aside from the fact that the Rams are good and the Bengals offensive line is not. Eli Apple should have won MVP for the Rams. It was after his nonsense. It was actually really funny to see like the lowlights of the game, and he was in every one of them. Mecole Hardman, did y'all see Mecole Hardman, his tweet? He tweeted at Eli Apple, and it was like a video of him putting on his Super Bowl ring. He's like, don't worry about it, you can get one of these. Because Eli Apple made the play on Mecole Hardman right at the end of the first half of the AFC Championship game when Mahomes threw the ball short of the goal line. So Apple made a big play in that moment, but Hardman still has a ring. It's pretty funny. It's petty, but it's funny. Brad Warner, only good thing about the Rams winning was Andrew Whitworth got a ring. Whitworth and Odell, no doubt. I was excited for those guys. And look, I think Matthew Stafford's been a good guy in the NFL. I don't hate seeing him get a ring. Yes, I mean, obviously after the Rams beat the Saints, I loathe the Rams and don't want anything good for them. But individually, yes, I think there were good people individually who won. Mr. Jones, good morning. Alex Barnes, good morning. Trivia, I saw Boyd with the drop. I say Boyd with the drop opened the door for the Rams. I would absolutely agree with you. That came at, so like, let's look at the situation. Let's see. All right, so Boyd's drop came on a 3rd and 9 with 6:22 to play in the game. and they were at their own 40-yard line. So the ball was right around the sticks, right? So it was right at about midfield. And he might have actually come up a hair short. Who knows? I mean, he was short of the sticks when the ball hit his hand, and there was a defender there. But it's also plausible that he powers through and gets the first down. And that's at the 6:22 mark. So, yeah, I mean, you're one first down away from a field goal, which puts you up 7, right? That certainly opened the door, man, because, I mean, at that point, the Rams were on their 15-play, 79-yard touchdown drive. And look, they went for it on a 4th down, and Cooper Kupp got it on the end around, and credit McVay for a really gutsy call. Like, in that moment, on that 4th and 1, I'm going, he's out of his mind. Because at that point, the Rams had all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, and you're at your own 30. I mean, I'm looking at that going, but if you don't convert here, it's over. I mean, punt it. Your defense has just been mauling Cincinnati the entire second half. Like, just punt it, play the clock. I mean, there's 6 minutes to go in the game, but at that point, it was 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. I'm like, it's 5 minutes to go in the game. With 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, that's an eternity. You may get 2 possessions after that. But he went for it, made the decision, it worked. As always, y'all, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, brortho.com. New year, new career. If you're looking for a job, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, they are hiring over at Brock. And, of course, if you need an orthopedist, you go see Brock. They're just the best. And, as always, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Tell you do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Brian Broom, Jack Laverne, LSU Baseball. It is LSU Baseball Week. How about that, y'all? Friday, opener for LSU Baseball. I think I told y'all this the other day. I'm excited. Stacy Fontenot, good morning. Ready for some baseball. Excited, yes, indeed. Hopefully it warms up a smidge before Friday. Trell Hatch, last drive, couldn't understand on 2nd and 3 why Burr threw the ball out of bounds. That was just clearly miscommunication. Jamar broke off the route short, and Burr thought he was going deep. It was just a miscommunication. Jamie Hodges, good morning. Sheldon Christie, Aaron Donald's a bad man. He is. Vernell Thomas, good morning. What kind of chance do the Saints have of getting Eric Bieniemy to be the Saints OC? I'll talk about that today on AFR, man. I needed to dig into that a little bit today because obviously being out for much of, for the last 5 days, I haven't really pried any on that. But, man, if they could pull it off, that'd be fantastic. Let's see. Shannon Russell. All right, Shannon, you made your point. You think the NFL is rigged. Have a nice day. Chuck Sanchez. What's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Bengals have to fix the line. All the sacks throughout the season and in the Super Bowl are unacceptable. Yes. It was very reminiscent of watching David Carr when he was drafted by the Texans. And they really ruined his career. As a young player, I don't know if he would have ever amounted to much, but, I mean, he just got mauled as a young player. And it ruined him. Richard Bordelon. Morning, Matt. Kudos to our men and women's basketball team for winning the games over the weekend. Yes, indeed. How about LSU basketball? Back-to-back wins. 2 more very winnable games this week. Remember, we talked about that 6-game stretch where they were going to be favored. Well, they lost the first 2 against Ole Miss Vandy. They seem to have now steadied a bit. Getting Pinson back obviously helps. Wednesday, they're at home against Georgia, who is awful. And LSU should absolutely win that game. And then they're at South Carolina, who really struggles to score. That's another game, albeit on the road, that LSU should win. So, So yeah, trending in the right direction. Keith Bauer, 2 minutes left, should have let the Rams score. I could not disagree with you more, Keith. You're winning the game. You do not let the other team score. It's like you would have said the same thing in the KC Cincinnati game, and Cincinnati came up with a stop. They're like, oh, should they let him score? Hell no, you don't let him score. You're winning the game. And by the way, they got the ball back with 2 timeouts. Actually, because they burned 1 timeout on the goal line play. They got the ball back with 2 timeouts and 2 timeouts and a minute 25. Like in the NFL, a minute 25 and 2 timeouts is an eternity. Patrick Mahomes got Kansas City at field goal range in 13 seconds. I mean, like, no, you don't let them score. It's the most asinine thing, let them score. No, you're winning the game, you don't let them score. Neil Ripley, what's up? Glenn Hartline. Eli Apple did what he does best, PI in the end zone. Keith Bauer. Boston trading freedom to Houston. Houston waiving him China rules. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. It would be helpful if those who are going to stop watching the NFL because it's rigged would actually stop watching the NFL. Thank you. Yes, if you think it's rigged, stop watching the NFL. Yeah, man, Dane Bergeron, hope Odell's okay. Hard seeing him go down like that. Man, everyone thinks the same thing, right? I mean, when you go down in a non-contact injury like that, you just know what we think. So hopefully not, man. Maybe the Bengals draft Stingley. No, Dane, Stingley's going to be a top 5 pick, man. The Bengals are going to draft 31st. So they will likely take the best offensive lineman on the board at 31. And there should be some good options, too. David Tolson, good morning. Shelby, not going to lie, when Joe hit Jamar to open the final drive, I thought he was going to march it down the field. Me too, Shelby. When they got 17 yards on that play and then he hit Boyd over the middle, I thought, throw. But then obviously there was the incomplete pass deep, so it's 3rd and 1, and they handed off to Mixon, which got stopped and set up the 4th down play. But yeah, disappointing, man. All right, I got to get rolling, y'all. I got to get Drew up. Feel bad for Joey B. Tim Gocho, Brad Warner. Whitworth back to Cincinnati next year. I don't think so, man. He said before the game it was likely it for him. No Saint. Matt, I wanted the Bengals to win. That being said, I'm tired of Saints fans, which I am one, complaining of ref calls. To me, those calls were legit. Not fixed, no conspiracy. Of course there's no conspiracy. It's like, it is just asinine. It's like, it's a fan mentality. When your team loses, you have to look for someone to blame. That's what fans do. And I understand it, but it's literally the worst part of my job is having to listen to fans like that. Like, you had a 60-minute game with 150 plays and a dozen things that your team could have done better to win the game. If you put yourself in that situation at the end, it's your fault. And it also goes back to something else I've said. All refs are bad at their job. Yes, the flag coming out on the holding by 55 for the Bengals linebacker, I thought was a terrible call. They let him play the bulk of the game. To throw a flag right there, I thought was awful. Absolutely agree that it was an awful call. It was also a get back, you could argue, from the no call against Higgins on the 75-yarder, which there absolutely should have been one, and that was a scoring play. So, whatever. Let's see. Yeah, the board drop started, so. Okay, y'all. You're right. I said Mixon. Who was that? It was Gulf South. You're right. It was P. Ryan. It wasn't Mixon. It was Samaje P. Ryan who got the carry on the 3rd and 1. Okay, I got to go. Oh, God, it's 7:55. I got to get going. Thank y'all so much for watching. As always, shout out to Brock, Hudco. You need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, call Hudco. Remember, Hudco, hometown heroes. Any roof we do, hire us to do your roof. We'll take a portion of the net and commit that to do an NIL deal with the athlete of your choice. any school, any athlete, any sport, give us a shout. HUDCOroofing.com. Okay, y'all have a great day. We'll see you.